live now.
Wonderful.
All right, we are live, John.
Hello, hello, hello.
If you want to run the intro for me, I'm going to update all these posts for us.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone, to The Art of War, Hangout, and Hobby. I'm John Lennon. This is Richard Siegler, the Unstoppable Destroyer. And we are just here a little bit late.
John Lennon, the All-Seeing Annihilator.
The All-Seeing Annihilator. We're here just to hang out, paint, talk 40K. Unfortunately, we are coming in a little bit late, and so it probably won't be quite as long as normal. We had some technical issues that had to be resolved. As always, these things flare up at like 12:59 p.m. right before you try to start the stuff. But that's just how life works.
John and I got our galaxy brains together, and we figured it out.
Absolutely. Without Nick here, we were forced to use logic and reasoning and to solve problems, and that actually works.
It does work.
A little bit.
Take emotion.
Some healthy Googling as well did not hurt.
Take emotion out of the discussion. All right, I think we're all good on the War Room post. Everybody should know where we are hanging out.
Right.
And, John, if you want to take a look at this background that I added.
Yo, is that a what is that Custodes looking dreadnought? That is sick.
That is a legendary Telemon dreadnought.
Absolutely. Siegler,
Yes.
if you were a custodian, how many names do you think you would have occurred by now?
I mean, so many. I mean,
Absolutely.
just a gigantic laundry list of names.
100%, yeah. Like, this is like a Walgreens receipt.
I'll give you a very specific example of how many names, John. If you go into Warhammer Total War 2 and you go to Cetra and you look at all the titles that he has, that's the amount of titles.
That's I mean, how many is that?
It's
A couple hundred? Like, what do you think?
Infinite.
Infinite. Siegler, the infinite titles.
Cetra is imperishable.
And also a lot of other things, apparently.
A lot of things. Have you ever read that?
I actually I haven't read the whole thing, honestly. Cetra keeps asking me to sign a military pact with him, and I keep turning him down.
But you have to read his list of titles out. Oh, here it is. I could read the whole
Cetra's
thing.
list of titles. Oh my goodness.
I don't have the energy to do this now. However, when John and I play a Warhammer Total War 2 campaign, I'm going to play a Cetra the Imperishable, and I will read all those titles out.
All right, every time.
Every
single time.
Every single time.
It's almost as good as Sigvald's S speech.
Sigvald.
Sigvald.
John does like the Sigvald meme.
I do like the Sigvald meme. I'm very fond of it.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm running the Silent King archetype. King, 3 Chronos, 60 Warriors. Struggle mightily on Dawn War deployment, particularly against long-range shooting as I just get pulverized if I go second. Any tips? If you were running the 60 Warrior variant, your mobility, aside from simply move advancing the units, is going to be from reanimations. So it's your opponent whittling you down and you using reanimation to get closer to the middle of the table so that by turn 2 with your move in advance, or even just a normal move and potential charge, you are getting into their lines. On the Dawn of Wars, you could actually just play a very conservative game and go for even primary and try to win on secondaries. Maybe you take Purge of the Vermin in that type of case, and While We Stand. So those are options. But typically, I try and use reanimations. A great example of that is if you go to the Las Vegas Open matchup, where I play against Mark Perry Slanesh, I use the reanimations to help reposition the army. But against shooting armies, not always easy. But most of them don't have the firepower to just pick up a single warrior unit in one go. There are only a couple units in the game that can actually do that. So you need to use things like cover, reanimate more models into cover, and then take the saves on them, that type of thing.
I need to play guard into your Necrons. Just full gun line the rest into you.
And then we play on WTC terrain, and there's nowhere you can see with guard.
It's all under fire. It's, 9 mortars, 3 wyverns,
3 wyvern, triple wyvern.
3 manticores.
So you bust out triple wyvern.
Triple wyvern! I mean, those things are basically 23 shots,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's valid. It's average.
Why not? And they reroll wounds.
Obviously.
Can you get AP on them?
No. Really.
There's no way?
No.
No, that's special.
There used to be, and there is no longer. Thanks, GW.
Was that Vigilus?
That was Vigilus.
Okay. Vigilus did really buff them significantly.
Yeah, no, I miss that stuff right now. I would not mind just a little bit of Vigilus loving in my Imperial Guard life.
Other thing I really like about against the gun lines is Lich Guard. Lich Guard and Resorb. They can take a pounding. 10 Lich Guard.
I will pound them.
With shields. I'm seeing a lot of ignore line of sight in my current meta also. Manticores, Plague Burst Crawlers, maybe Grey Knights.
Hybrid Guard? No.
9 Air Burst Crisis Suits.
Also not that. Neither of those are real armies.
But those, they actually do quite a bit of damage. Like, those are actually really scary for
I mean, they would if anyone took them.
Yeah. 9 Air Burst Crisis just picks up 20 warriors, no problem.
Yeah, I can see it.
I don't want to play
It's
against
a
anyone.
lot of blast.
And you don't have good weapons against them outside the Silent King because they ignore AP 1 and 2 in shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're actually pretty decent in melee. So, that list is actually pretty annoying to deal with for Necrons. But obviously, like John
What
said,
if
it's not
we
popular.
have Nick play your Tau into your Necrons?
No, he can play my Necrons into my Tau.
No. We need Nick to play the Tau. It's been a while.
No.
It's been a while. Come on.
I really want to make Farsight Enclaves work. I think I've got a
I really want to make Ginster Cult work, but I just made my peace with it and played Tyranids. Maybe Ginster Cult will get a codex in the next 3 years.
Well, we can put Tau and GC on the table.
Yeah.
2 struggling factions go head to head.
God help us.
I have so many questions today. What does Steve think of the Tau list from the GT? What does John think about the 7 Dreads for the Custodes build? What does Steve think about the Necron representation at the GT? All great questions, Lyle. Starting with the Tau list. Will Abba's Tau list, very interesting list. I've been running we both gone the same method of just having stuff all over the board, but by different means. He has preferred keeping the Yavara, even though it got nerfed in the last Forge World rule set. He likes Ghost Keel, and only has 1 commander, and it doesn't have any serious weaponry on it. It's just really there for buffing and command node purposes. Super interesting decisions there, because commanders are one of the best units that Tau has access to. He also runs a Viorla detachment with 2 units of Breachers, a unit of Kroot, and then a Devilfish, and spends 2 CP on the double shoot on them. 10 Breachers put out 40 shots double shooting. And you can spend another CP for reroll wounds, if the unit isn't benefiting from cover, or you can also spend 1 CP to extend the range of their short range profile. So they're strength 6, AP 2. You can actually do a lot of cool things with Breachers, so he's definitely loading up on all the stratagems on the Breachers, which I am totally in support of. So, also Anshi is an absolute boss. Rerolling invulns in combat. He was in combat with Nick's Death Guard for like 3 turns in a row. It's awesome. Now he's only in combat with Poxwalkers, but still. He's
Anshi.
Anshi.
Anshi! Why don't you play Anshi?
I have played him once before in that bizarre list I ran.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
So adorable.
I had melee Tau. But, no, I think that list is quite good. And I think my 9 Airburst, if you combine the 2 lists we've been running, I think the 9 Airburst unit, backed up by the Ion Tide and just stuff all over the board, is better than the Yavara plus the Ghost Kill, which are both more expensive than that unit. I just think the Airburst offers so much to Tau.
Yeah.
And it's done work in every single game. It's
Do you think you'll try to work an Ion Tide into future lists?
I think I will. I ran it for a while. The main reason I went away from it was because it needs marker light support. However, in the drones that I'm running, I don't really think gun drones are that good. And if you're running the Airburst unit, you don't need the extra volume of fire. So just run marker drones instead. And then in that case, I probably do end up squeezing in a drone controller there. So they're hitting on 4s and they ignore the heavy penalty. So
yeah,
that way I can just get 5 markers on 1 target, and that's usually enough for the Ion Tide. But you can take VT on him for get +1 to hit against fly as well. I think I will run him. Because he is an absolute beast against tanks. And
100%.
that long-range firepower does add a different dimension to the list.
So what, you need to kill Ravagers and Raiders? Ion Tide.
Or Raciers.
Or Raids.
And then he just sits there with 3-up invuln the whole game.
Yep. Yeah, he's still pretty tanky.
Yep. Second question for you is about the Dread list.
I really liked John Camacho's Custodes. I love Scion Allies. I think that they're absolutely mandatory. Going that heavy into Dreads I thought was very amusing. I still think that's a little bit too all-in, personally. I think 5 is like the sweet spot. But honestly, I've got to respect anyone who takes that many Dreadnoughts, because I love Dreadnoughts, and I want Dreadnoughts to be good.
And there's a Dreadnought looming behind us.
There is a Dreadnought looming behind us right now. So I actually really like that list. We don't have enough Dreadnoughts to play it. I think we only have 5 between us.
Not for lack of trying.
Not for lack of trying. Well, we could do more, but we'd have to do more Telemons. We only have 3 of the little guys, and then we have 4 Telemons for some reason.
That's how cool the Telemon is.
That's how cool the Telemon is. We just violated the rule of 3 just to get a 4th one in. Just for the collection. Nobody can actually use it. So I honestly, I like the list. I'd love to see us try it out sometime. I've played John before. He's a cool dude. He's got some interesting army designs.
And he played the heck out of that list, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Went 5-1, which is always impressive. Had a quite close game with Mr. Nick. I believe that was his only loss. Because he ended up placing, I think, in like 3rd place. I think he actually lost to Nick and then finished 1 spot above him.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is kind of funny. But hey, if it works, it works.
And then what did I think of the Necron list there? They seemed to be really tailoring for Mortal Wounds, especially, but in a jankier style. Not really a triple Catan, which I totally understand based on the terrain. No midfield terrain. The Catan are extremely tall, so if your screen is trying to hide behind that ruin, they're just going to get smited or whatever.
Yeah.
So wasn't the greatest terrain for triple Catan, but and it was also great terrain for the Silent King for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
Good midfield terrain is really what you want to run those lists. So the Necron players innovated, tried some different stuff. Didn't end up working as well, but I still feel like they were trying to help with based on that terrain.
Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable guess.
I was mostly surprised not to see tons of the OBSEC, just I'm going to flood you with 15 Wraiths, 27 Scarabs, that type of list.
Mm-hmm. That is.
I think that one could have done pretty well there.
Yeah, makes sense. What are you working on today, Mr. Six?
I'm working on a Transcendent Catan for tomorrow.
Transcendent Catan.
Yep. And it is going to be playing against Nick Nanavati's Harlequins, which I cannot wait to see.
I, too, am very excited to see the Harlequins on the table.
Nick has been busy at work giving John the work.
Yep, as always.
So we're going to see those sweet, sweet Harlequins. And we'll see what Nick goes with, because he hasn't played Harlequins in quite a while now.
No, he really hasn't. So I'm excited to see them on the table again. It's been a
John
while.
and I have played more games with Harlequins in the last 2 months.
Than Nick has? Yeah, I know. Quite the turn of events there.
Favorite army in Warhammer Total War 2? It's a
Lizard
tough one.
Man.
I would go with the High Elves, specifically Altharian's subfaction. I also love Cetra, the Imperishable. Luther Harkon's great.
Krokgar.
Krokgar. I would say it's between Cetra and Altharian as my 2 favorite.
Krokgar has a giant dinosaur that he rides, and he leads other
What
dinosaurs.
about Tic-Tac-Toe, though?
Tic-Tac-Toe is pretty great.
Tic-Tac-Toe.
Not gonna lie.
Tic-Tac-Toe?
He rides his little pterodon. Like, Tic-Tac-Toe is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I like Krokgar.
How do you feel about Praetorians in the Silent King list? Do you favor them at all? Worth the points in the list? I had experimented a lot with the Praetorians. I like the speed that they bring. The high AP is also nice.
Yeah.
But I actually ended up preferring the native defense that those Lichguard brought, and the volume of attacks that they have, because they benefit from a great stratagem for Lichguard and Novak stratagem, because unfortunately the Praetorians don't benefit from dynastic traits as dynastic agents, so
Tis a pity.
they lose a lot of important stuff there, honestly.
Yeah.
That's why I think Lichguard ended up taking it for me, and I really do love the Lichguard a lot.
A little slower, but they are tonka tough.
Yep.
Yeah, because they have a 2-up armor, right?
3-up armor plus 1 armor saving throws with the dispersion shield, and 4-up invul natively. T5,
Not
2
bad.
weapons, and Resorb, reanimation shenanigans.
Storm shields are so good.
They're just ridiculously
Storm
good.
shields.
Games Workshop didn't know what was going on.
Here we are.
Hey, we're nerfing Storm Shields. Are you?
Is that what we're doing?
Not sure.
We need to.
There's 2 streams by mistake. Let us double check that.
2 streams, you say?
Let's see. Ooh.
How is?
Are they both the same, or is one just nothing? One is nothingness. I
we...
don't know how that happened, but
Delete.
it's getting gone.
Yep, that is.
It is got.
It is getting them out of there.
You are now unlisted.
Oof.
Not even deleted, just unlisted.
The
Into
Inquisition
void.
has rendered judgment, and you have been found wanting.
Be
Double
gone,
stream.
foolish stream.
It's out.
All right.
All right, we're back
That's
to 1
fine.
stream, all for you.
The 4 people in there, I apologize. I hope you make it back to the truth.
The one true stream.
Sent to the void. The Void Reaper. Has the Clutch City GT event changed the way you approach events? Seems like going for narrow wins doesn't work as well. Going 5-1 with polar armies. What do you think? Just going for crazy wins.
I frankly no. I think that this is a further testament that building one-dimensional lists will eventually fail. Like, because that's what happened to Nick. Like, Death Guard are very good, but they are one-dimensional. And I think Dark Angels are going to fall into the same trap. I don't think they're as fully explored. There were only a few Dark Angel players at Clutch City, and I think one of them went 5-1. But I think there's only one Dark Angel in the top, 15. Which is not what you...
Art of War member at that.
That's true. Art of War member.
Joey.
I think that was, Joe Rexer, who made the top 8. But they didn't do the takeover that everyone was expecting, because, oh my god, this is the most broken Marines yet. And yet, here we are, I think there were 2 Space Marines in the top 8, which is a perfectly reasonable number. And there were none in the top 4. So, okay. That's kind of fine. I don't think anyone's going to complain about that. I mean, I think the top was, Sean's Eldar Madness, then it was Orcs, then it was Custodes with Guard, then it was Death Guard, then it was Black Templars. It's a perfectly diverse meta right there. No one can complain about that. Except for the Genes they're called the top players. I will allow their complaints.
Will Alvarez went 5-1.
That's true. You know what? He won 5-1 and he got 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even then, touted something. So no, I don't think it has. I think it just highlights my views on the one-dimensional armies. This is why I'm not excited to take Dark Angels to events, even though I think they're amazingly strong. Just when you find yourself in a situation where you have to change your game plan, Dark Angels just can't do that. And against a good player, I can't trust that I'm never going to have to change my game plan. No matter how good plan A is, Sean Naden will probably find something that makes me change or makes me adapt. Because, he's Sean Naden. And, I can adapt and I can win that game, but Dark Angels aren't a super adaptable army if you go for the big Terminator brick. And I think Death Guard run into the same problem.
Yeah. It plays, especially the 5 objective missions, super well.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, not doing a whole bunch. But as soon as you get introduced a tremendous amount of speed and the ability to play around, especially combined with screen clearance, they actually start losing a lot really quickly.
Yeah, they don't have that much.
See, Mr. Nanavati signed up for a local tournament in Maryland. Is this true? Wouldn't expect to see one of you guys up here. Nick Nanavati has, in fact, signed up for that event. It is being run by our friend Anthony Birdsong.
Absolutely.
And we've got Nick has plenty of friends up there outside of Anthony as well, including John Damaris. So he is going up there for both business and for playing some 40K, which is also business.
This is also business, but it's also pleasure. Because who doesn't love playing 40K?
So
when is that event?
I believe it's next weekend.
I think so, yeah.
It's next weekend or the following weekend.
It's either one of the 20th or 27th.
Yeah. But it's coming up, and
it's coming up hot.
Definitely say hello to Nick there.
Ooh, I wonder if he'll bust out the Death Guard again, or if he's going to think about something else.
Eldar?
No way. I don't think we'll have the Dark Eldar by then.
Okay. What are your thoughts on adding 2 full payload Manticores to a Custodes list?
You can add them to anything.
Yes.
Anything you want. You can add full payload Manticores to anything except your Tyranid army. To be clear, I would add it to my Tyranid army if I could, but Brood Brothers don't get nice things.
They don't get full payload. They get Manticores.
Why can't Brood Brothers be a custom regiment? Come on. There's so many different Brood Brother regiments. Why were they your infantry at +1 leadership?
Because it's a powerful, powerful role.
But they're oh, man. It's just so sad. It's you're fearless, but also +1 leadership. I'm why are we doing this?
It's for when Metallica shows up and they use the strat to subtract 1 from leadership.
No! No!
That's what's happening, John. You're going to be really
glad. But I auto-pass morale anyway, because I have a Patriarch.
Don't worry about that. Don't put it in the full context of that role. They don't get crazy.
Brood Brothers is so bad, I want to cry.
Welcome to Slin. You are a new member to the Art of War channel. Hey. Thank you so much. Welcome to the channel. Really appreciate your support, and glad you're going to be enjoying these Hangout and hobbies. You can go rewatch them anytime. Get the sub badges, the emotes. It's Mark Perry Great Unclean One action.
The emotes, you say?
John's heroically intervening.
Yep.
Into any discussion.
100%. Anytime they mention me and I'm not in the room, I just kind of crab walk in, aha! I heard you mentioning White Scars, Nick, and then I just leave.
Any chance we can look forward to seeing you gents at the Detroit GT next month?
Unfortunately, I'm not planning to attend that one. Looks really fun, but I'm trying to avoid air travel for as long as possible, or at least until I get a vaccine. Um, so probably not going to make it to Detroit. It was on my radar, but unfortunately, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I am trying to play it as safe as possible here, like John. But as soon as I do,
Oh yes, can't wait.
we will be back in action.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. And I do actually have a lot of family up in the Midwest, so hopefully if there's something in the area later on in the season, I may try to sneak up there.
John, what are your thoughts on Nathan's list?
Madness. It's the architect, not the list. I think though that the archetype, which is basically just have so many small little things that you can afford to throw them downfield and get points and not be punished when you lose them while punishing people who take them. I think that's just a great archetype in general. I think that the way that Nathan does it is insanity because I would try to do that playstyle with different units, but objectively it works. So I cannot ask too many questions.
Do you think it's very similar to the Tyranid playstyle that you've
honestly, yes.
refining?
I think that it has more trading pieces, but worse trading pieces than the Tyranids.
Nothing quite as powerful as the single
There is
demon
nothing there as powerful as a Demon Karen. There's nothing in the codex as powerful in that codex as powerful as a Demon Karen.
There's
Like
a few things in the game, John.
the Demon Karens slap, but he definitely has so many of those. Just all those little pieces.
And to be fair, it's the direction I've been trying to go with the Tau as well. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, I think that's a really good play style to pair into the brick armies, I guess I should say.
That only have a couple key units, and then a lot of those lists also have a ton of characters. We know Nick was debating which characters to play and which ones to drop before the event, because you don't really want to go into top tier games with 8 or 9 models just tethered to your main brick.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's tough. I mean, a lot of the characters in the game are very good.
You want to take them all, or at least I do, but we cannot do that.
Do you think the results at Clutch City show that 9th edition is far from figured out yet? That player skill matters more than meta armies, or is some third thing?
Oh yeah, I think player skill certainly matters more than meta armies in almost every instance. I honestly see meta armies as a tiebreaker, where player skill is still the most important thing.
So if you happen to have the hot new meta army, you have an advantage, but
not necessarily hot and new, but an army well built for the meta. Doesn't have to be hot, doesn't have to be new. And 100% 9th is not even remotely figured out yet. I fully, firmly believe that.
Especially as we get a ton of new rules coming
up.
Oh my
goodness.
What is coming up?
The Book of Rust.
Book of Rust. Nick Nonvati is going to be action against the Book of Rust next week.
Absolutely. We've got new Drukari rules. I'm just super excited for that. It's weird that they're doing I guess it makes sense to do it now, but they're doing a witch cult supplement at the same time as the Drukari Codex. Yeah. And I'm guessing that these were not intended to be released on the same day, if I were a betting man.
I mean, they're also introducing some sort of extra Death Guard stuff after they
the
books. So
that's true. It's weird. Their choice of armies surprises me.
This must have been long in the pipeline.
Yeah, I'm guessing that this is
only thing I can assume.
That would be my guess as well. It just seems weird that they're giving love to the armies that just got booked while Jeans to Colt and Tau just sit in the corner watching, crying.
I wish we had relics and warlord traits.
Jeans Circle does have relics and warlord traits, but they just don't have units, which is actually where you need to start. It turns out that's what you need.
Can we get the Tau and Gene Stealers to ally for a little while?
No.
I think we could come up with...
We have standards.
We have standards?
Gene Circle has standards.
No, I don't think they do.
We do. We would not.
They can't even get full payload Manicores, John. Don't give me these standards.
You won't get it here.
Real question. I played Blood Angels, Custodes, and restarting a Necron army, but how the heck are these armies competing with Death Guard and the Death Wing? Custodes can definitely compete. Custodes are actually quite
Those
strong.
Dreads!
Honestly, the Telemon is an amazing tool, especially with Shadow Keepers. Mm-hmm. You've seen it on stream against the multi-melt attack bikes all over the place. Yeah. Just melty guns in general. -1 strength is not what they want. Or turning off rerolls.
Yeah.
And all of that is just bad news for damaging a Telemon. Then it comes in with a flat 4 damage fist, 6 attacks with Eternal Penitent. -1 damage, you're still dead.
It's pretty darn
You're still
nasty.
smushed into it.
Yeah,
just oblivion.
100%.
I think Telemons are a great tool in this current meta.
I would 100% agree.
Also, full payload Manticores.
Full payload Manticores for everything. There's full payload Manticore for every situation.
On the other hand, with Necrons, I think Triple Catan has a lot of play into Death Guard and Death Wing.
Yeah, Mortal Wounds.
Just a whole amount of Mortal Wounds. Blood Angels, on the other hand, yes, that is tough.
Yep, I'll give you that one.
That is tough. I experienced it. It's tough. Because as soon as you start adding in the shooting elements you want against those armies, why are you still playing Blood Angels? That's kind of where I'm at. So, haven't been as excited about the Blood Angels recently, unfortunately, even though I do love that army. But Blood Angels still, over the course of the meta, they're still very strong. And if the meta heads towards more speed, Blood Angels are great there.
Yeah, absolutely. So fast and can keep up with some of these other armies.
Bloody Naden. How am I supposed to whine about Eldar with him winning events with his crazy list?
It's Naden. Naden does Naden things. There's no denying it. However, you will, I believe, be able to hear Sean Naden talk about his list coming up soon.
You are. They're going to be recording the Art War podcast with Sean Naden tomorrow night, and then they'll be available soon after for Patreons and the general public. So really excited to hear his thoughts and breakdown, not only of the event, but just how the list runs, what other options he tried. Super excited to hear that.
Yeah, that's going to be a great episode for sure. I'm going to listen to that one.
What is the Monster Mash list bad against? Based on how it played in John's game, it seems insanely strong, or at least a gatekeeper list in unskilled hands. How do you play against it?
In unskilled hands. Oh. That hurts.
No, they weren't saying
No,
specifically.
I know. Honestly, it does seem really good, but I think that if you don't have the means, if your attack bikes don't just go high, I think what you can just do is kill the rest and ignore the best. Where Magnus Mortarion are great, but they don't table armies by themselves. And you saw the problem where by the end game, I was down to only psychic flying characters.
Magnus almost does.
Magnus almost did.
Almost
Magnus
does.
put in a good effort. But as the Chaos player, I just didn't have enough left at the end of the game to score all the points I needed. Whereas, okay, I have domination and I have 2 models left. I physically cannot dominate. Okay, let's see if I can hold more, which I also could not do. Yep, that was tough there.
Just gotta roll more ones on the on the banner.
Yeah, seriously, that's what I need. Just need some ones.
But yeah, that list is strong. It does have bad matchups though.
Oh yeah,
Ray Knights and Sisters of Battle in particular,
and Guard
are probably 2 good tough matchups.
Like,
turns out,
honestly, I think Admech too. I think Last Chickens killed the Demon Primers in time.
I don't think it's as bad though, but
not as bad, but it's still not.
At least they have if they have the trapping stuff, if they bring the Epitome and stuff like that.
I guess if you summon the Epitome, yeah, it's true.
But yeah, it's a slightly different list anyway. But
no, Epitome's 210 points, and that list had 209 reserve points.
Oh, Mark was trying to think after the game for that. He's like, just have one less something. Anything.
One less anything. Nope.
We got a 5-pound super chat from Matt. Thoughts on what we've seen of Bellacor's rules that have been previewed? Some really big,
spicy.
Really,
did you read this?
Yeah, I did. -1 to hit all the time. Got no rerolls, and then also -1 to wound from shooting attacks.
Yeah.
4-up invuln.
I don't know what his stats are gonna be, because if he's 10 wounds, that's not that bad. If he's 16 wounds, that's pretty good.
I feel like
if he's 18 wounds, then it's less good.
I feel like with these types of rolls, he's heading towards that. I'm going to be in that Mortarion realm.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 18 wounds.
The size of the model is very close to Mortarion, but it's close enough that I could see it being 16. Yeah. If Be'lakor is 16 on the dot, that's gonna suck. That's gonna be so good. Be'lakor everywhere.
But also AP4, 3 damage plus D3 on that.
Ignoring invulns.
So
I don't want to get hit by that. That just scoops up. No, literally nothing wants to get hit by that.
The Nightbringer can take it for a turn, but
I'm thinking what do I have that actually is going to go into Be'lakor and kill him at that point? I don't want to send a demon
20 crew, John. It's going to tie him up for hopefully a turn.
Oh my god, I literally hate you for saying those words. He has his own psychic discipline though, so it's kind of cool. I don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah, who knows?
Be'lakor looks super spicy. I just want to see how many wounds he has and what his other defensive stats
and how
are.
many points he is.
Yeah, but
it seems like he's going to be the supreme commander for demons.
Yeah.
And thank goodness, because it certainly shouldn't be Fate Weaver, right, John?
No, it should not be. Fate Weaver is a baby back.
No, he's passe.
A fresh-faced young spring chicken like Fate Weaver cannot rival the majesty of Be'lakor.
But honestly, I'm loving the rules that we've seen so far. I mean,
He
that's
looks-
probably only the scratching the surface.
Absolutely,
There.
there's got to be more than that, but it looks super good so far.
So, I think he's probably going to be one of those things that just gets plugged in because
Yeah.
they've been doing really well with these Supreme Commanders.
Yeah, if he's a big Supreme Commander, he's right into the list.
Yep.
That's going to be so good.
And thanks so much for that super chat, Matt.
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate it. Going for that top super chatter this month. It's funny. It's a battle of the Mats for top super chatter right now.
Which Matt will win?
I am curious to find out. Any of you get a chance looking at the LGT in the UK? It looks like we will be open. It's probably a little too soon for us to fly over internationally. Yeah. However, I also think there's supposed to be another major US event at the same time, right?
Yeah, I probably would have. I would have really looked at it if in a normal year. With COVID, I'm a little less enthusiastic about flying overseas. The big thing is that there's a team tournament in the United States in Las Vegas hosted by Frontline Gaming the same weekend. And it is very hard for me to turn down a team tournament. So unfortunately, I don't expect to be at LGT this year. I'm really optimistic that I'm going to be able to find a team for this.
I would hope so.
I would hope so too.
Who could you possibly be teammates with?
Who indeed? Where would I find these misfits?
We need to continue the tradition.
Absolutely. So probably not LGT, but hopefully in the future I will be able to come. So I'd love to go to LGT sometime. There's just too many good events now. It's like
there's so many good players in Europe. It'd be amazing to play against.
Oh, absolutely. But honestly, there's too many good events that I want to go to.
Yeah.
Like I want to go to like that event in Detroit, but then like there's a GT down in Florida the same weekend. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, Frontline are really stepping up with all these.
Frontline's stepping up as well. Yeah, they're doing a great job.
Are you guys heading to the WTC if it is held this year? I think there's a smaller version of it being held, but I have not heard anything about Team USA representing. I think once again it's probably coming a little too soon. But we really are dying to get out there.
Absolutely. I would certainly love to be on a WTC team, but everything I've seen is that if it happens, it probably won't have a US team this year. Perhaps in the future.
Nick's taking Seer Council to that Maryland tournament. He'll fall in love.
No, he's not. No way.
That's Clown Mode, who was a top super chatter from the previous month, and is going to have Nick play Seer Council this week against a Tyranids list.
Oh, yes. That's coming up on Thursday.
Yep. Exciting sub match.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Nick will be reinvigorated with the Eldar.
Maybe. He just played against it. There's some learning going on.
So do you plan on going to an event anytime soon? I am waiting for the vaccine myself personally. Just want to be on the safe side. I do visit my parents fairly regularly and want to play it as safe as possible. However, once I do, I plan to go to the same events John and Nick are going to, and hopefully they are team events as well.
Team events are the best events. I can't wait.
Do you think the meta right now is favoring armies that can be pseudo-invincible hide, or does the GT show that Alpha Strike armies are still the way to go, or somewhere in between?
I don't think it's either of those.
I think speed is king.
Speed is king.
I think speed is the name of the game.
The same reason I keep saying White Scars are the best Space Marines. Like, end of the day, don't care how tough you are if you're not on the right objective.
Being able to pick the engagements, being able to take the easier board control secondaries and dance around your opponent, super powerful.
That's still what I want the most.
Also, just having too many units for your opponent to deal with in any reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, super, super big deal.
What are your thoughts on the orc list? What is the trick, or is it one-dimensional? It was very well designed for the terrain format, honestly.
Yeah, I honestly think that list was a product. It's a good army. Like, 18 Smash Guns is something that's been banded around for a while and has done pretty well in quite a lot of formats. I really think it was designed to work with that terrain format because they did publish their terrain format in advance. I was honestly joking about just kind of showing up to the event with a Knight Army because I thought that the center of the board was very open. And because there were a lot of small L's that didn't block line of sight, I was like, you know what, screw it. Really tall models that can see over this, like, let's just do it. But I do think that list was just very much going to do well in the terrain format. And it was a very, very good orc list. I really like the Grot kill tanks. I would love to snag some of those. We'll see about trying to acquire some of it. I'd have to check and see if they're in stock with Forge right now.
Yeah, but it was a combination of supreme firepower with a lot of mission playing tools. You saw that in that final game where, what was it, 95 to 90 or something?
95 to 90 against the Black Templar list by our good buddy Jack Arkstar.
Yeah, that's an insane score.
I was sad because those were my Marines getting killed by the Smash-A-Guns. I wasn't there to help, but those were my Marines.
Black Templars really don't want to fail a 2-up to prevent things from falling.
Yeah, that was brutal. Jack put a couple different units into a Grot squad and used the Black Templar stratagem to stop it from falling back, and it works on a 2-up.
No rerolls.
No rerolls. You know what happened next, folks. You know where that one's going. It's just
like rolling the one on Vect, and you're like, excellent.
Yep, like, as good as that is, you know it's going to strike eventually. So that was unfortunate that it happened, but you can't be shocked.
Do you think the Dark Angel's Death Guard, the live or die based on the player's ability to anticipate, predict the matchup? Like it essentially plays with its hand revealed, and if you can deal with it, great. If you can't, you're going to struggle?
100%. I think that it needs to really understand what the opponent is doing so that when it takes its first step, it gets going in the right direction. Because similar to like Foot Custodes, you don't change direction with the Dark Angel or the Death Guard list. It's like you can change a game plan, but you're still going in the same direction because you're just so slow. And if you ever take a misstep and start going in the wrong place and your opponent gets to score points on you, you don't really have time to go back. And for that reason, I think that you need to really have an intimate understanding of what your opponent's doing. That would be my little input.
Importance of game knowledge there.
Yeah, the importance of game knowledge, which I always stress.
Do you think there is a demand under normal circumstances for more team GTs? Obviously, yes. The ETC, WTC are big draws. Do you think there's more room for that in the US?
I think that is where a lot of growth needs to happen. Now, they're a little harder to organize than singles events, so I understand why we do not have
spatial
just a million of them. Spatial concerns, getting enough people. I also think that the point structure really punishes team events. And so the people who are trying to give opportunity to score ATC points, a singles event is just better for scoring points. However, I think team format is much more enjoyable. And I don't know if it's happening this year because the season started and nothing has been mentioned. But I am hoping that there is a way to reinvent these team format events so that maybe there's a different circuit for them. I don't know what it would take. But I personally love team events and think that they're the most enjoyable way to play 40K.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's about community, and what's better than just beating down other teams with your friends?
Absolutely. I love like the drama and the rivalries and like the friendly rivalries, but like I love like the East Coast versus West Coast, Florida versus the world that happens at like the American team tournaments, and I would love to have even more of them to go to.
Hey guys, nice to see you guys making my mounting and painting hours more fun. John, what would be your wish list for new Tyranids codex?
My new Tyranid codex wish list. And honestly, in the context of everything, the way weapons are going right now, I think units in synapse should have -1 damage. Just flat out. Every synapse creature is the Ironstone. Or more specifically, what I want is I want different synapse auras to do different things. So maybe one of them is the Ironstone. But right now, if you take a Space Marine captain, he buffs your intercessors in a different way than a lieutenant does. And if you take, like a librarian or a chaplain, all of these affect your units in different ways. A Hormigaunt unit interacts with a warrior, a neurothrope, a zoanthrope, a hive tyrant, a warrior prime, all of the Maliceptor, all of these different Tyranid units in the exact same way. They're all identical. Just synapse. Just you're fearless.
Maliceptor?
Maliceptor is theoretically a unit that I would like to buy sometime. So to me, that's heartbreaking because there's so little, like they just need way more special rules, I think. I think Tyranids need a lot of love, and I think that they really need a stat line upgrade almost across the board. Because really, like the only unit that like does the kind of damage that you would expect it to is the Zine McCarran, which got a brand new stat line from Forge World. And I think things like the Carnifex need that a level of loving. I would love to see, from a balance perspective, I would love to see Tyranids get more invulnerable saves. However, I acknowledge why they haven't done that because it doesn't really make sense for Tyranids to have invulns on most things. So I would really just like them to see damage reduction or an increase in wounds. Like either -1 damage across the board or just increase the wound count on the whole army. Like Warriors can stay at 3, but like a Carnifex needs to go from like 8 to 12. A Hive Tyrant should go from 12 to like 16. Swarmlord should go to 16. Like a Trigon should they just all need to go up, in my opinion. It's just very disheartening seeing like a Trigon be less durable than a Rhino for like more than double the cost. It's like, man, what am I paying for here?
Well, you're not paying. You're just ignoring me.
I'm not. The unit doesn't get used. And I think that's a darn shame because Tyranids have such cool models and such cool units, and so many of them are garbage. So I just think they need from the ground up, let's get a new codex in there. Hopefully GW will hear my pleas and grant us a new codex sometime soon. Unfortunately, there have been no rumors of such, but you know what? Sometimes things just happen, and rumors don't tell us anything. Like, there were no rumors about this Book of Rust thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what's in that. Need a playtester to spill the beans to me.
I hope it's good.
I hope it's good. You know, I want Knights to be cool.
We have a 20-pound super chat from Matt O, the other Matt.
Whoa.
Matt competition going on. Would more 5 lady squads of Repentia get more value than the 8 to 9 model units? I could be wrong, but there seems to be less and less targets for the big Repentia bombs in the current meta.
I 100% endorse 5-girl Repentia squads. I actually put one in every list already. However, I still do some of the 9 girls. I go 995 because I think that there are some targets that require that, but there are also some that are just cheap and you just need to kill it, and you don't need to invest a full squad. But I do fully endorse having a smaller Repentia unit. I like having a Rhino that has 5 Repentia and 5 Retributors in it.
Thank you so much for that super chat, Matt.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, I agree. Nick, you saw Nick run it 1 to 5 girl squad.
Yep, Nick's done that before. I really like it.
Easy trading unit that you don't really feel bad
Exactly.
sacrificing.
Sometimes you need something to die and you need it to guarantee die, but you also just don't have the you don't want to like step out your Retributors to kill, and you don't want to come in 9 or Repentia to kill like 10 guardsmen.
It feels really bad having to trade a big unit, even like 10 Zephyrin for something that's not quite meaningful.
Absolutely.
But you need it dead because it's could be a big
swing.
Yeah, it's a point swing. For the Telemon, what weapons would you run? Fist and definitely, I like the
I like one
vehicle.
fist.
Yeah.
What is the name of it? The Arachnus last blaze cannon?
Blaze cannon.
Yeah, I like one Arachnus, one Telemon Cestus. I really like having one Cestus, which is their equivalent of a fist.
Yeah.
I don't mind the Iliastus, but I think that the Arachnus is a little bit better. But they're both still pretty decent. So I don't mind which gun you choose. I just pretty much insist on one fist.
My guard friend says you can only play 1 mana core per army. You can play 3 if you want.
Yeah, I fully endorse 2 personally, but you could do 3 if you were feeling crazy.
What are your views on the combat towel list that Nick ran into? It wasn't really combat towel. It was, I'm going to try and slow you down by charging a bunch of stuff into you, which I think is perfectly reasonable. I've done that with the Triple Tide build.
Yep.
You know.
Making me miss vultures right there.
Yeah. John is into just random charges.
I am. I enjoy
What
these
is
things.
going on? Remember the one game where the commander was stuck in combat with White Scar stuff for three rounds of combat?
Yep.
Before punching out the squad. That's the type of ridiculousness that you can do.
I enjoy these things.
TK Penny with a $5 super chat.
Yo!
Big Repentia squads also keep the option of multi-charges open, which sisters do well. They also absorb casualties from a Rhino death well. That is also true. Really good points there.
Yep.
Mr. Penny, who has been doing really well with sisters lately.
Absolutely. He is quite the fanatic for the girls.
Any spicy tech Mr. Penny's been working on? Is he still on the mortifier train?
No, he's off the mortifiers.
Off the
as much as he loves the mort, and to be clear, you cannot stop the mort. He's been working on the single exorcist in his list right now to help build in while we stand we fight. I think he's been really having some good success with Kyria Draxus in the army.
Kyria Draxus, really?
Who
Actually
I absolutely love. Who I absolutely love.
If her fight last was just a little bit easier to pull off.
Yeah, just throw in the Rhino with her Repentia. Go right upfield, no problem. I support this.
Bummer that ATC was canceled this year. Huge bummer.
Massive.
John and I were super excited for ATC.
Yep, would have been really awesome to have it happen, but alas, it did not.
How is Houston? What do you think of the Houston meta? So neither of us actually participated.
Yep, which is why we're on the stream right now.
Nick is flying back. I'm going to pick him up after this paint stream.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a good, fairly diverse meta, honestly.
Very diverse meta, yeah. It was very interesting. Man, it's so hard to get a single indicative meta right now, but it was definitely cool to see some armies that are thought to be underpowered still perform well. I think that just emphasizes that as much as we like our power list, I think it's still players over army.
Yeah, and that follow-up question for Zachariah. What does it mean to be flexible in an army list? It really means that you can win multiple ways. Your win condition isn't, I have to stand on objectives and survive. It's, I can also get behind my opponent's objectives and die him points. I can take a lot of different secondary points. I can, play defensive in the first 2 turns and then become extremely dangerous like White Scars turn 3, 4, and 5. Stuff like that. You have multiple win conditions built in. Like White Scars can play a super defensive version. They can play very aggressive, starting out, move advanced turn 1 into the middle of the table. Turn 2, they're into your whole army. You have to be able to win multiple ways. When you only have 1 win condition and your opponent shuts it down, you just lose games.
Exactly. Or if they just find a way to do it a little better than you. Like we've seen where like the Death Guard are like, yep, I can just get like 85 points a game. But like the one time, Sean's Eldar got 93. And it's like, well, getting 85 points a game no longer helps. If the Eldar get 90, and, if you don't have a different way to get a win condition, then you can just lose by a couple points. And that's what happened to Nick is, I don't know what it was. It was like 95 to like 83 or 82, something. 82, 83. Yeah, it's like, certainly not a bad loss, but if you can't close that gap, it's still a loss.
What's a good air painter to get? John does, in fact, use an airbrush from time to time.
Yeah, I personally have really liked Badger. I think I use the Badger Chrome. I've heard that the Patriot is a really good starter brush as well. I think there are tons of great airbrushes out there. Just look up some tutorials, depending on what you want to use it for. But I've really liked the Badger Chrome so far. It was my first airbrush, and it was relatively easy to figure out. I think a really big thing, though, is find a friend who already airbrushes, just to have someone to talk to. That helped me a lot.
I've been playing lists with the Void Dragon Nightbringer to a really high win rate. Have you tested a build like that? I'm going to be playing... I played double Catan before. I'm trying out triple Catan. I'm not playing the Void Dragon. I think he's more meta-specific. In a meta with tons of vehicles, certainly, because he's basically invincible at that point. Do love the Nightbringer. He is the Catan that kills things in melee. And you don't have to spend CP on him. So I do like him. He also has the best of the specific Catan powers.
For sure.
But I like to Transcendent Catan instead of running the Void Dragon or the Deceiver.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable.
But, well, like I said, if there was a meta full of vehicles, I would be very
So if Venom Spam, perhaps? Would that be a meta full of vehicles?
Yes, Venom Spam.
Oh my goodness.
You've got if somebody's running like 12 Venoms,
who would do such a thing?
Nick.
We've got to do that. Folks, sub-match time.
Because you just throw him in there and he heals back each
sub-match time. We need to get Nick playing the new Dark Eldar into the Void Dragon.
You let the other Catan whittle down the vehicles, and then the Void Dragon kills 3, heals 3, and then you just keep going.
Heals 4 wounds a turn, potentially. That's brutal.
Well, if he kills 2 things in combat, if he goes crazy in combat. Now, why should 3 Venoms be next to each other? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a whole question.
You could definitely kill a bunch of stuff with him, because he also has a shooting attack.
Oh.
So.
Is it just any time he kills a vehicle he gains a wound, or is it only melee?
Yeah, max of 3 per phase.
Okay. So you can do it in shooting melee and his mortal wounds are in melee or in the
end of the movement.
Oh boy.
Oh yes, John.
Does it have to be by attacks or?
I'd have to relook at the wording, but I believe it's anytime a vehicle is destroyed.
Interesting.
Do you think GSC can play 9th edition missions well when they get their codex, or they seem to have a lot of tricks?
I think GSC play the missions relatively well. I just worry about their ability to play the opponent, where if someone is aware of what James Clerk do, I think that they're too easy to stop. And they're just so fragile and very pillow-fisted right now. So I would worry about not being able to stop the plan A of some of these really tough armies like Death Guard Dark Angels that are just trying to get a set amount of points, and I don't think Gene Strickle can stop that. But you know what? Gene Strickle is a very flexible, tricksy army. So hopefully, if they get a codex anytime soon, that will be that'll be enough to get them good.
How many Goliath rock trucks?
Yes. All with demo charges. We are auto blowing these babies up.
Mortal Wounds.
Mortal Wounds!
Only comes at the cost of what? How many points are they?
They're like 75 points.
Actually not horrible.
It's not horrible. The Goliath's not bad.
Do you guys think Nick would have had a better shot in the finals were it not for losing both dreads on turn 1? 100%.
You know, that can't have helped.
Wouldn't have hurt him.
I don't know what exactly transpired to kill those dreadnoughts, but I was personally surprised when I heard that they died turn 1. I don't know. Unfortunately, the Knights of the Game Table stream was a little inconsistent, so I was not able to catch all of the action. But however those things died, not that would have been better.
John, LVO's happening next weekend. What army would you take?
Oh man, I would play a lot of games with White Scars.
White Scars. There you have it. Did you guys see the Bellacore previews this morning? Seems like he's going to be pretty hard and tough. He is indeed. We talked about it a little earlier, but John and I are both super excited for what he's
Absolutely. He's a super cool model. He's also got some good lore, so I'm excited to see Bellacore back on the table.
There weren't any rules there that were stinkers. It's not like Illuminor Xeris where they're previewing 9-inch Order of Perils on doubles.
Oh god, I forgot he does that.
Awesome.
I bet you could get Nick with that. You would forget.
I would get Nick with that.
I would forget.
I would move and advance him directly in there.
Just like see what happens. He would like proceed to not roll a single double and not even be aware that he's in danger.
Yeah. That's how Siege works. Matt with another 20-pound super chat. Thank you so much. You are a champion of this stream.
Thank you, Matt.
Do you mind sharing your thoughts on going first and second? Goonhammer has another article up on the advantage of going first, but watching your stream games and my own games, I'm not really seeing it. Great question. And first, I don't know if you read the article, John, but that's a wonderful article. Super in-depth, tons of details. Those Goonhammer guys are amazing writers.
I actually
put
have
tons of effort into those articles.
Did that article go up today?
It did go up today this morning.
I will not feel guilty about not reading it then.
But essentially, the points here are the overall pre-FAQ, post-FAQ. The numbers haven't changed that much. There's still about a 5-point advantage going first.
Yeah.
Or it's 55% win rate for going first versus down from 57%. And essentially a 10-point swing if you go first.
See, I think that the problem per se, I don't mind that the changes to the mission, is that the people that go first and win aren't doing it by getting such a score advantage that it's insurmountable. It's by getting a model count that's insurmountable. Like, hey, you just lost 600 points and I haven't taken any casualties yet, go ahead. Like that.
You think it's about the damage that
I think that the extra 5 points average is a result of people going first and tailing people, which is just always a thing. I think terrain is the big fixer here. I don't think it's the mission.
They had an entire section on GTs and they broke down all the different terrain formats and showed that the advantage was the same regardless of those terrain formats. Some were light in the middle, some were very heavy in the middle.
Well, that is an article I need to read now.
Very, very well done. On top of that, they broke down the secondaries. Bring it down, obviously, with the biggest drop, but no huge differences there. And while some of the specific faction secondaries are getting that sweet 8-9 points on average, they still think there's some more time we need to sit with them and especially see other factions.
I wonder what the average points on Stubborn Defiance is.
It was like 8 or 9.
Really? Only 8 or 9. I guess there are just some games where you just.
Oath of Moment was one of the highest with 9.7.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
Well, more faction. There's more data for that. Obviously, Dark Angel's still very new.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
But also, the Dark Angel win rate has not gone up with the codex. Based on those couple events, it actually went down 0.9%.
That's absolutely hilarious.
Yep. Whereas Death Guard have shot up to 57% win rate.
Oh, good for Death Guard.
Now, I think that's still the product of more people have spent more time with those books. Mm-hmm. But yeah, John, I would highly recommend checking out that article as well as everybody in chat. That is an article well worth reading on the Goonhammer website.
Yeah, I will make sure to check it out.
But yeah, I think the other thing to say about going first or second is I would really like another buff to going second. I really loved prepared positions, the stratagem,
Yeah.
And the previous mission set, really sad they got rid of that. I think a defensive strat like that for somebody going second to help keep their models alive, like what John was saying, that would help.
Here's the thing. What if you go second on turn 1, like prepared positions is non-infantry models benefit from light cover. Yeah, just like you still got to be in the terrain.
Yep.
Or like if you're in a forest, like I guess, and what they do like non-Titanic or something, or like non-18 wind models.
Yeah. The ones that don't benefit from
like that. Yeah, just like give. Yeah, just if vehicles that are in light cover receive the benefit of light cover on turn 1 if you go second.
Yep.
I'd be fine with that.
They can come up with some other defensive mechanic too.
Yeah, I'm fully in favor of. I don't think that going second needs a points advantage, but I'm fully in favor of going a second and not getting blown off the board.
Yeah, a little bit of extra defense to help keep things alive.
Absolutely, I do like being alive.
Yep, you really don't want to lose too many resources turn 1 without having a turn yet.
Just feels bad.
And that'll also help on those tournaments that don't have the luxury of having very heavy terrain.
Yeah, or like established terrain collections, because especially in new events, it is very difficult to get enough terrain up.
Especially built and painted, like not easy at all.
No.
So, wonderful question, Matt. Thank you so much for that 20-pound super chat.
Thank you.
You and the other Matt are certainly in the lead right now for top 2 super chatters for this month, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.
Absolutely. Get brainstorming, because I'm excited to find out.
One of those matchups could be something like Sean Naden's list.
Interesting. I wonder what people would want to see that into. Maybe Tyranids? Tyranids. I'd love to see that.
You can get Tyranids versus Tau to finally happen, though.
Oh my goodness. Nick on Tyranids. No. Siegler on Tyranids. Nick on Tau. That's right.
And D. McCarron's go nom nom.
Oh my goodness.
We got a $10 super chat from Matt. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for the content, folks. Back to the grind. We're going to be grinding all week. Such great content coming up. We have stream matches. First of all, on Tuesday, I am going to be playing Triple Catan against Nick Nanavati's Harlequins, coming back for the first time. And then on Wednesday, of course, Hangout and Hobby. And then Thursday, back-to-back stream games as usual. First up is going to be a sub-match from Clown Mode, a top super chatter from the last month. Seer Council into Tyranids. And then in the War Room, it is going to be me playing Imperium Soup with some Custodes Imperial Guard mix. Talmons are back. Versus Mr. John Lennon Slash.
Absolutely. I'm super excited for both of those games. I think they're going to be really, really fun, and I'm excited to get them on the table.
What's that list looking like for tomorrow? I am going to be posting it up, or at least John is going to be posting it shortly, I think, or tomorrow morning at least.
Yep. Yeah, we've got the Necron list. We're still finalizing the Harlequin list and what that's going to be, but both lists will be up probably tomorrow morning.
But I can tell you it's Custom Dynasty, OBSEC Relentlessly Expansionist with Triple Catan, Nightbringer to Transcendent.
Yeah. Now, I was waiting on the Harlequin list, but if you wanted to, we could post up just the Necron list while we wait on the Harlequins.
Yeah, I can definitely post it up because I am on the ball with the lists.
Indeed you are. You're also not on an airplane right now, so...
That's fair. I didn't play I didn't play 6 rounds this weekend.
Didn't even play a single game this weekend. Pathetic.
I signed up for the one-on-one coaching because I just joined the hobby with Indominus, but you weren't available, so I picked Nick for my Necron help. What do you think? What do you know that he doesn't know? Nemeser, great question. Nemeser Nick has been trying out different Necron ideas, and
he's got some pretty good ones, though.
He's got some good ones. He's got interesting ideas. He does also like the custom Dynasty builds, but if you want to go with, learning about other styles of Necrons, Brad Chester and I have done 2 really, really excellent Necron clinics in the War Room. So go back and listen to those, especially if you want to hear about the Silent King builds. There's a lot of information in there. Obviously, our stream games as well is a great resource for those.
Yeah.
But Nick has actually done deep dives into the Necron book. I know Nick, and reading, he's actually done it for Necrons.
He has. I trapped him in a car for 4 hours and he read everything. he became an enlightened man.
You're going to see transdimensional thunderbolts appearing from his mind soon. Going to my first GT on the 27th. Also figured I should just jump right in. That's the best way to do it. Easiest way to skip those that really sharp learning curve for
100%. 40K. I like jumping right in. I support this.
But great choice with Nick. Goonhammer said Black Templar's the worst Space Marine chapter. Do you agree?
Hard disagree. What on earth? Man, I like Goonhammer too. Why do they have to make me hate them?
Well, it's the
if
stats,
you diss
John.
Black
It's
Templars, I hate you.
It's the stats.
Nope.
Blame the Black Templars players.
Zealous Rage, Pure Faith, smite down everyone who disses Black Templars. There is no logic or reasoning.
What I'm hearing is those Black Templar players need more faith, John.
They do. That's everyone. Everyone needs more faith.
They need more faith.
No, Black Templars are amazing.
Disappointing.
Black Templars are better than Blood Angels. They're better than Space Wolves. Like, what are we talking here?
Got a $5 super chat from Clown Mode. Thank you so much, Clown Mode. Very excited for Thursday's stream. Can't remember if I said in my message, John, but I don't care if Nick changes his list. I just want Seer Council. All right, we will give him that flexibility.
Yep.
Do you want John to have the same flexibility with the Tyranids, or he's all good on single DMcCarran? Because I know John, he will nom with a second, no problem.
I'm never going to be opposed to a second, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm good either way. I am ready to go.
Was it a Moloch or a Trigger?
I believe there's a Moloch in the list.
Why not style on Nick with beating him with a
Moloch? He's going to get a 2-up invuln on his Seer Council. I'm just going to be like, boop, Moloch, mortal wounds. Just nothing but mortal. Like, we're not doing any saves, just mortal wounds. No problem.
That's how you do the style points.
Absolutely. 100%.
John does love his style points. Thank you so much, Clown Mode, and I cannot wait to see that matchup because it's been a while for the Seer Council. Nick was a big believer last year towards the end of 8th edition. They lost their Vigilist strats, and they went up in points, but it's still Seer Council.
Yeah, they're still not bad. At the end of the day, having a 3-up invuln and a 5-up feel of pain and never getting hit, all those things turned out to be good.
Triple Catan is going to crush some Harlequins. I cannot wait for it to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
The list around it is great, too. Mm-hmm. Nick's not going to know what hit him.
I'm super excited to see that game.
Hey, guys, do you know any alternative model to the attack bikes?
The best I have seen is people taking the Legion jet bike from 30k because it has the option to have a multi-melta or a heavy bolter on it. So you don't really need to do any conversions. The problem is that it's definitely a proxy, not really like the same size. Mm-hmm. So I'm not aware of anything else there. Honestly, I've been lucky and I've already had a decent number of attack bikes and just kind of reached out and found, people who had one, had two, and just gotten them one at a time until I got up to 9. Of course, I need to actually paint them now, but that's a whole different problem.
How do we feel about the Black Templar list that came in 5th? That is our friend Jack Harpster's list. He was actually preparing it in this very stream room
100%.
Against all of us.
We helped him practice against it. Jack's a very good teammate and a very good friend. So I loved it. I helped him write it. I kind of tried to get him hooked on the Black Templars because he had been playing with my White Scars, but he wasn't feeling it because it wasn't his, and he didn't really get everything that went into it because he wasn't the one making the choices and the list design. So I recommended Black Templars to him. He went deep into them, much deeper than I had gone. And he found some really good stuff, and I helped him refine the list with a couple practice matchups, and he really liked it.
Is 3 CP too much for the OBSEC on the bike squads in Dark Angels?
3 CP?
Yep.
That's free. You just need it for being in the detachment.
Well, he has a Vanguard and then an Outrider.
I see. I think that's worth it still.
Yeah,
I like OBSEC. Honestly, if you're doing like a Deathwing detachment and this detachment, just because you can have like either your Deathwing or Ravenwing detachment cost 0 command points with your Warlord, I think it's 100% worth it. Yeah. You definitely want to have at least one of those two in any Dark Angel list, I think.
They have great strats, but OBSEC is just going to be worth it. You need to win the mission.
OBSEC is key.
Doing a small GT in April and August, do you guys care if I only do coaching for a few months, or does it have to be more long-term? You can only do it for a few months. Sign up for when you want to. Pick a coach that you work with, and maybe you'll just enjoy working with them so much that you'll stay on for longer.
Absolutely. We've had some players who want to do coaching just for a month, just while they're switching an army. Yep. Some people, get a lot of value out of doing it long-term. Whatever works for you. All of the coaches at Art of War are very flexible and would be happy to help however you require.
Definitely. Like I've had a few clients now almost going on a full year.
Mm-hmm.
Other times it was I need help for these particular events, and then maybe I'll play a different army later and come back.
Yeah, I've had some clients who they sign up for like a month every 4 months, and then like we just go over a new army, like we go deep into it, and then I release them into the wild, and then they come back.
Yeah, the long-term benefits are usually that the coach gets to know you really well and your play style, and then can tailor specifically. So, for instance, you switch to Necrons. The coach is already going to know how you play with these other armies and try and build a list that helps fit that style.
100%.
So it can be very easy to have that
good rapport, yeah.
Are you ever going to use Raven Guard in a stream game? Ideally, a coaching game. We have used Raven Guard a few times, not very
recently.
often, and that's mainly just because
neither Nick or I really are passionate about Raven Guard.
there's so many Marine factions.
There's so many Marine chapters. With that said,
we also haven't played Iron Hands. We played Raven Guard one time.
Yeah, we haven't done
Iron Hands in a long time.
Not 9th edition. We can try to bust out some Raven Guard. We want to cycle through every chapter, every once in a while, just to give them some loving. But we may circle back to them at some point.
Funnily enough, I think it's White Scars and then Raven Guard that, out of the Space Marine Codex Space Marines, have the highest win rates.
Really, Raven Guard still do?
Yeah, I think it was White Scars at 57 and Raven Guard at 55.
Oh, dang. Go.
Something like that.
Go White Scars. Well, you know what? If you go
Speed.
first 55% of the time.
Speed. Speed does kill and score points. What is the best way to deal with someone you suspect of playing loose with the rules? Sometimes I feel bad for asking to see everything, but there's so much rules bloat. Great question. The way that John and I handle it is we just know the rules, and so we talk through it with our opponent. Like, all right, so you're activating, this Harlequin troop unit. You're going to be hitting on 3s. You get the rerolls from the troop master who's within 6 inches, blah, blah, blah. Just like talking through everything that's happening so that there's no mystery. If you don't have that rules mastery, which is where you're coming from, the way to do it is you can have them just hand you the codex, and it's on the table. You can just look up whatever you want. And you can just constantly, you're well within your rights to ask questions, especially on a chess clock. Now, the chess clock, when you ask questions, usually it's put onto you, but it should be easy things for them to answer.
I would say that you should. So it kind of depends on the context. Like, is this like a buddy of yours? Because if it's someone you know, and you just every time you play them, you have this problem, maybe spend a little extra time looking up their rules, just to make sure that you're aware of them.
Also, just give them a little talk. Like,
just
I want these games to be enjoyable. You're playing for the fun of it, for the community. If he's making it an unpleasant situation, definitely.
Just try to have a nice conversation.
Yeah.
Other than that, what I always do is every time, I try to be familiar with the rules, but whenever my opponent is doing something that I personally don't think is correct, and sometimes I'm wrong, so I always try to be polite. I always say, hey, we've been playing it the other way. Like, do you mind if I check? Like, it's like, I really want to let my buddy know if he's been doing this wrong. Yeah. That's my go-to line.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, my buddy plays it the other way, so I'm just gonna look it up so I can let him know.
Yeah, I just went to 2 GTs and they ruled it this way. You mind if I look at the wording?
Just be friendly. Just double check. Don't accuse someone of because the game's not because sometimes you think something's wrong and you look it up and you're like, wow, Eldar are actually that stupid. It's a common thing when you play against Eldar. You never expect them to be as broken as Eldar are, but Eldar constantly surprise you with how broken they are. They're like Kroot in that aspect.
I'd love to see you guys game on a WTC table. Any chance to be practicing for WTC on stream?
Ooh, man, if we go.
if we were going.
If we were going.
It would give us more incentive to. So looking not quite likely.
Not yet.
But we would love to practice for those events, honestly, because it's a very fun format. I love the terrain format, and it's based around teams, and how much John and I love team events.
I love team events. By far the best way to play the game.
Latest Goonhammer meta review has Death Guard with a 50%, 57% win rate. Do you think they will sustain that, or is the meta still adapting to them?
I think people will adapt. I think Death Guard are very good, but I think that's going to drop a little bit as people get used to it.
Yeah, probably drop a little bit. I still think they'll have a decently high win rate, mainly because they have a very low skill floor, honestly. You just play the army in baseline, it's just better than a lot of things out there. Mm-hmm. It's more durable than most things, has great strats and synergies, and has great secondaries.
Good at scoring the mission.
It's just very good at playing the mission. You can't kill it. Not a lot of armies can kill it that efficiently.
A lot of armies cannot.
So I think it'll stay like that for a little while. Mm-hmm. But there's things like...
Yeah, I don't think they're going to drop below 50 anytime soon at all.
No. Have you heard of the latest Aussie GK Jank, Storm Raven plus Edict and Broader to shoot and then jump off the table? You're still running a Storm Raven.
I hate everything that was said so much. Oh my god. That is adorable. But that only works so much.
Also,
also with Storm Raven.
Really
that's the unit you've chosen to use the power on. That's pretty cute. Not gonna lie. Yeah. But I don't know if that's enough to make me want a Storm Raven. Oh, I guess
So
the
your
Storm
opponent goes
Raven.
first.
Yeah, just shoots the Storm Raven. Like it leaves the table, but then it has to arrive, and it can't jump on the turn it arrives. So you get an extra. You get one turn of shooting non-interaction out of it, which is cool.
It's funny, but
That is pretty hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty good.
are you hoping for something specific for Custodes for their new codex? Personally, I'm hoping for Sisters of Silence and Permatranshuman. Also, getting a taxiturn is 3 Telemons too many. I have 3 Telemons. I bought them in 8th edition. That immediately turned out to be a bad decision when they were nerfed. Then they got buffed with the latest Forge World rules, and it's back to being a actually reasonable decision.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say 2 is very safe.
Yeah, 3 is not bad.
If you're a pure Custodes player, you love Custodes, that's your faction, get the 3rd one. Because we don't expect those Forge World rules to change very often.
No, not at all. I expect the Telemon to be a very playable unit for a while.
Yep. For their codex, I would really love to see Sisters of Silence transition themselves to that troop spot.
I would love to see it be a thing like Death Guard, where you can't take more Custodes or more Sisters of Silence than you take core Custodes units.
Yeah.
That would be 100% fine for me.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep. It's like I don't want it to be a battalion of 2 shield captains, 3 Sisters of Silence.
What would you love to see on the Dark Eldar Codex?
I want the Racks and the Beastmasters to be awesome, and Incubi.
Incubi.
I don't care about witches. I don't care about cabals, aircraft, stupid, skimmers, lame. I want homunculus covens to be super tough and fun, and I want Beastmasters and the Beast Packs to be scary.
I want the Court of the Archon to have good rules.
Oh, that's true. I want the
I want
Slits to be the most OP model in the game.
I want Slits to be absolutely broken, so Nick is forced to
Absolutely
build, paint,
broken.
and play them.
Yeah, of course. No, Nick has to paint a Slith.
He is definitely afraid of snakes.
That has to be a dice bet. Nick has to paint a Slith on stream.
To be fair, the Slith is by far the coolest of the Court of the Archon.
The Urgles?
Cool, though. I'm
Right.
the Slith
is pretty cool.
The Slith is
I like Urgles, though. They're little like feral.
John is the little feral goblin in the stream.
I am, yes.
I'm like, excuse me, there's a rule here. I'm going to deploy my scrambler. Out of this raid.
Gribble.
Emergency disembark me.
Oh, yes.
Team USA is not coming. I haven't heard anything about Team USA and WTC, and I'm in the chat.
Yep.
But I would love to go.
Yeah. You're in the old chat, the new double secret chat.
The new secret chat. What do you think about the resurgence of orcs?
Wild. I still don't like orcs. Honestly. I get it. They just won a GT and they just got second place at another one.
At a major?
Yeah. But I still don't like orcs. Honest to God, I'm like, you know what? What if you just went second and got shot? And a lot of armies, not a lot of people are bringing those firepower lists. So. Yeah,
AdMech just wasn't having a show.
Yeah, there just weren't AdMech there. I'm like, man. I feel.
Imagine if 6 Iron Strider Ballistari showed up and 3 Scorpius Incinerator.
Yeah, it's like, here's, all right, 9 dead guns, your turn. Okay, 8 dead guns, go ahead. Dang it.
Do you think, and we've seen that on stream, Nick had to actually play against that.
Oh my God, it's horrible. Yeah.
Oops, I went first, and my 4 Transuranic Arquebuses picked up the key character. And I whittled down both your boy squads, so now I killed them both next turn, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't like boys at all. I think boys are garbage right now. Maybe, I don't know if they need a points cost. I don't know. I don't want them to get a Primaris, extra wound. That'd be dumb. But,
they would be silly with an extra wound. Oh my God.
I don't know how you make orc boys good. Because, they already have, 6 attacks per model. What else do you do there? You can't, orcs are literally wearing leather t-shirts.
I feel like a chopper should be AP1, though.
Maybe
it's a chopper. It's a big, the big chop is AP1.
Maybe, yeah, the big chop. Maybe make a big chop AP2, a chop AP1.
Yeah.
Maybe that works.
They should be chopping.
Chopping.
Guys, how you doing? First of all, thanks a lot for your games that are awesome. What do you think about the Tyranid Harridan? I have a friend with
Oh my God, I love it so much.
On the model.
I love it so much. It's actually really good. This thing is terrifying in shooting, by the way. I think it's 12 shots, ballistic skill 3, strength 10, AP 3, flat damage 3. And then it has the 2 CP plus 1 damage. and it can
Don't worry about
elect to take D3 mortal wounds, and it's a 31 monster. And if it does, it gets +1 to wound.
How many points is it?
700.
Okay, it is pricey.
It is, but it's like tough.
Yeah.
It's like T8 30 wounds, -1 to hit all the time.
It's like the Town Art, but cheaper.
It's better than a Town Art.
The Town Art it has a lot of firepower.
That's true. It doesn't have as many guns, but it's like really cool.
Yeah.
Colin Sherman of Best in Faction has been really hyping up his Harridan because he actually bought one to use in his stream games. I think it's really cool. I just haven't gotten around to buying one yet because boy, that is not something one does casually. I'll wait till like a birthday or Christmas to get a Harridan.
Do you think shuriken cannons will get the same treatment as splinter cannons?
You know, that would not be illogical. I don't know what LR are getting.
Yeah.
I keep asking
Too
for
hard to
squatted, but GW never gives it to me. I'm kidding, LR players. We still love you.
I assume a lot of Xenos weapons will be updated.
God,
A lot of them
please.
need it. Plasma rifles, I'm looking at you.
I want death spitters. Okay, picture the weapon when I say the word death spitter.
It's spitting something like butterflies. Not
No, it's just butter, not even flies. Spitting butter.
It's spitting
It's
butter.
like, wow, I can't believe it's not butter. Yeah, well, it's yellow and does nothing. It tastes bad, so good job.
If you keep
Great.
the butter and take away the knife, that's what it's spitting.
Oh my god, yeah, it's just it's so bad. Make death spitters good.
Do Custodes Guard have any good ways of dealing with triple Catan? Maybe a targeted smiting by an Inquisitor.
Honestly,
Custodes definitely.
that would not be the worst way to deal with it, though. Like, just have Draxus, targeted smite.
It's not bad, but it's also not amazing. You know,
That's
that's
amazing.
That's not because you were just going to take mortal wounds.
Yep.
A lot of mortals, and the Nightbringer just picks up Custodes.
Transhuman helps.
It helps.
It's not bad enough, but it helps.
But between the mortals and the melee, you're losing a lot. So that's honestly the toughest matchup for Custodes.
I would agree.
This is just bad going into it.
Yeah.
Ideally, and this is why I think Custodes and Admech do have some play as always. Admech actually brings things like Raya, or you can take the and then you can take the Warlord trait for 4-up Feel No Pain against mortals.
On Graya?
Not on Graya, on the Warlord trait.
What the heck is that? That's just an automatic
It's
one?
one of the 4 ones.
Dang.
It's 4-up against mortals in the Psychic phase.
Oh, so in the psychic phase.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do anything against triple down.
No, but it helps against mortals.
Yeah, it helps against other
Yeah,
things. Okay.
It doesn't help specifically there. Graya,
Oh, okay.
Graya doesn't help. I'm saying it's mortal
Got it,
specifically.
okay.
Against Catan, it's different.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, it's in the movement phase, and nothing works.
Against there, I would go for but
Black
that was
Templar allies.
that was the point. I would take the 2 bombers, the Fuselaves. Those are the best anti-Catan tech in the game, or one of them.
Oh my god, yes.
Because it's just like, first of all, the list can't do anything against the bombers. But you just drop the bombs, you guarantee the mortals.
I love the bombers so much.
They're the best flyer in the game.
Absolutely, they are.
And they're better than the Dark Angels one because they're so cheap.
Yeah, that is the big difference.
Comparatively, quite a bit cheaper.
Yep, that makes a difference.
Hey boys, going to my first event next month. Advice or stuff I need to watch out for?
If it's your first event, I don't think you need to watch out for anything. I think you need to focus on having fun, getting used to what a tournament is, and also befriend the locals.
Yep.
The natives are restless, but seriously though, like just get yourself involved in the community, get to know people, and have a good time. You know, I don't think it's realistic to like. You can want to be competitive. I want to be competitive too.
If you want to win games.
But I don't think it's realistic to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to try to win my first tournament, or like I'm like worried about winning every game. No. Go get a feel for what a tournament is,
Yep.
and have a good time.
Yep.
I think that's far more important than any individual results.
Yeah, definitely. Once you find a community of like-minded people, you're gonna really
Yep.
dive deep into the game.
Absolutely, that's when it gets even better.
Then you'll be building ATC teams.
Oh man, there's nothing better.
What should I run in my Tau list? I'm lost at the moment. I like the missile sides or 6-man crisis bomb. I think the crisis is still where it's at. I think Farsight Enclaves is the best of the Farsight builds. I do like what Will Ablis is doing with the Viola detachment with double shooting breachers. I think that's also very good. Just being able to pump out 40 strength 6 AP2 1 damage shots is great, especially into things like Death Guard. And they, of course, have access to reroll wounds. You want stuff with reroll wounds. Command Node things like the big unit of Airburst Crisis, or really whatever weapon you're running on them.
Mhm.
Things like the Amplified Ion Accelerator Tide.
Mhm.
Those are great to use Commandoed on. And then having Breachers with reroll wounds. That's what you want against a lot of these defensive builds right now that we're seeing, especially Dark Angels and Death Guard. I
Absolutely.
think Tau actually has quite a bit of play into those. So I would look at that. And I'm going to be hopefully running Tau again into GSC in the coming weeks. So we'll see it on there.
Oh boy, that's gonna be.
But you
so
want
terrible.
a lot of stuff, a lot of little
It's
units
gonna
all over
be
the
so
place.
bad.
Hey Richard, when are we going to see your beloved Silent King again in action? Soon enough. I'll be back playing the Silent King, no problem. But Triple Catan is this week on Tuesday.
Very
And,
nice.
What's the best way for Blood Angels to take on Custodes competitively? Well, they pretty much ignore Tanglefoot because they fly.
Everything flies.
And being able to do a lot of damage in melee is really good. They have high AP, tons of volume of attacks. I think Blood Angels are fine in Custodes, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they rely on +1 to wound rather than rerolls as much.
Yep, just makes a big
Exploding
difference.
Sixes is great. So I think Blood Angels have tons of play into Custodes. Null Zone is also a Null Zone Libby with wings.
Oh my god.
Just get them in there. Get them in there.
You got
That's
a
the
lot
tech
like
I would add specifically, but it helps against a lot of other matchups too.
Yeah, it's just a good thing to have, I think.
Seems I heard you talking about Speed as King earlier. How does that translate into your various Necron builds? I have a lot of small units just running around. You'll see it. I got the Ghost Ark. I got 2 units of Wraiths. I got some Scarabs. I got the Hexmark Destroyer coming in
The
from reserve.
Hexmark Destroyer.
Speed from Reanimation.
Yep.
I've got all those tools in the Triple Catan,
Yeah.
so you'll see them.
Speed is a little more than just, the movement characteristic of a unit. Ability to redeploy, ability to reserve units and arrive places, whatever the heck we're calling Necron cheating whenever they get models back. Reanimation.
Yeah.
That
So
is a
it's
type of
reanimation.
speed. It's not true. I do not.
But thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. We went on a little over time just because, we had started late. But John does have a very long drive down to Central Orlando or Central Florida. And I'm going to let him do it.
Absolutely. We're going to get on the road.
So thanks so much for hanging out. Tomorrow, check it out. We got the Triple Catan Necrons into Nyx Harlequins. And then on Thursday, we are going to have some interesting back-to-back matchups. We've got the wonderful John Lennon playing a sub-match. He's playing Tyranids into Nyx Seer Council Eldar. And then in the War Room, it is going to be me playing Imperial Guard and Custodes Allies against John Lennon playing Sinesh. So lots of excellent games coming up, and we hope to see you then.
Super excited for that.
Thanks so much, everybody. See you next time.
Bye. Ta-da.